Hello and welcome to the latest Lukozer retro game review video, and for this one I've chosen Alien Syndrome, yet another arcade conversion. I seem to be doing quite a few of these, and I'll start by getting the game loading, because it's another multi-loader, but I'll start with an admission of a fuck up I made earlier. In the Salamander video I said that there were 3 arcade games that I played quite a bit, in fact almost exclusively. Salamander, Galaxy Force and Space Harrier. In fact there were 4. I forgot about this one. I can't believe I forgot about it. I was a huge fan of the arcade original of this, and I believe it's a sequel to Quartet. I'm not completely sure if that's right. I'm sure someone can put me right on that one. This conversion for Commodore 64 came out in 1988 and was released by Ace Software, who I'm not familiar with. I can't remember a single other title they did, so as far as I know this is their only one. Now if we get this game underway, I've got to get the multi-load started again. It's it's your regular shoots everything. You also need to pick up hostages, and you can choose, change weapons, all the familiar stuff. Now I must admit that because this game is notoriously difficult, I did, as you can see, use an invulnerability cheat in this video. This is the first, and I'm hoping the only time I've needed to do that in any of these videos, because this game is notoriously difficult, and I'm about to show you why it is. Because the scrolling was so slow that you often left it behind, and you had to keep taking like small steps and then wait for it to catch up, which got extremely frustrating. So what I've done is, as well as use the invulnerability cheat, I've also got it so that there's no timer. This way I can show you more of the game, because there are some pretty good graphics in there that I want to show. This was the game that sparked off the whole sort of like mini subgenre of making aliens as repulsive and gruesome and everything as possible, and it did result in quite a lot of games coming along that were basically trying to outgross each other, and this was the original. Many say the best, and I'd probably go along with that. I'd say it was the best. It certainly was, when playing it down the arcades. But the computer conversions, I hated this slow scrolling. It made the game ridiculously hard. I think you only need to rescue 10 hostages before you then have the chance to go to the exit. You don't have to rescue all of them, but I'm going to have a stab at rescuing them all. You see what I mean about the scrolling? It's infuriating. It does look like all the hostages do need to be rescued. one in here, and there's another sort of one of these sections just next to it. See, the scrolling thing really did become an issue. It's something that really pissed me off actually. Although I loved the arcade game, I wasn't such a fan of the computer conversions for that reason. It was almost entirely because of the shitty scrolling. Because, okay, the arcade version did also scroll slightly slower, but nothing like this bad. The arcade version also allowed you to get two like droids that followed behind you and fired shots back, so that you had your back covered all the time. They don't appear in the Commodore 64 version. But anyway, when we go through the exit, we then face the first boss. I didn't know the boss was a fucking separate multi-load. Jesus Christ. So this is another conversion that I think is rather ruined by the multi-load, because they are so intrusive. This boss would normally be pretty tough, but of course I'm playing it with, you know, the invulnerability on, so I've got no problem. Down the arcades, you know, on the arcade original, he wasn't so tough, but on the Commodore 64 version he is. So that's part of him done, and now it's just his head that comes after you like that. Dear, this is taking some time. Good job I put the bloody timer on yes, I set the timer so the timer never went down. It's a bloody good job I did that. Oh, because this is taking forever. I think to, yeah, I had forgotten about that with the Commodore 64 version. It did take a long time to get the bosses, especially this one, because when you're at this head stage, most of the time you can't actually shoot him. It's only when he's coming forward and in line that you can then hit him. So he's starting to go. Just a couple more shots maybe. Oh, come on, he's got to be fucking gunned now, surely. Come on! There we go. Right, so that's that stage done. And guess what? It's now a multiplayer or a multi-load again. At Shock Horror, I got full-time bonus as well as the full comrade bonus. So, like the arcade original, if you are playing two-player in this, both players are on screen at the same time, a bit like Gauntlet and whatever. I think, yeah, I think Gauntlet was the first, wasn't it, to bring that in, or at least the first to sort of bring it into, you know, a mass audience game. And after that, it yeah, it almost started to become the norm. You know, every bloody game was doing it. After Gauntlet, then came Quartet, and then so I'm pretty sure this is a sequel to Quartet, so you know this is always bound to come along. This level, I remember the arcade one. This was one of very few areas where the flamethrower was actually quite useful, but only against the boss. If you had the flamethrower against the boss, you could absolutely like just walk through it. I think I only ever actually got to the boss once or twice on the Commodore 64 version, so because I found the Commodore 64 version just way too fucking hard, and I can't even remember how accurate it is to the original one, but I do remember that the time I did get to it and I did beat it, getting to the third level, I made it to the boss of the third level, and that one, as far as I can remember, was quite accurate to the arcade original, which was a particularly grotesque looking thing. And in the arcade original, I was never able to beat the third boss, and in fact that's the same here as well. I've never beaten the third boss on this one. Now, providing I do okay and it doesn't, you know, go on and on and on forever, I'll go up to the third boss, and that will be this video done then, I think. So that will have shown a decent amount. I mean, I'm certainly not saying the gameplay at its best, because of course I'm cheating my arse off basically here. But I mean, you're surely getting a good idea though that, I mean, the gameplay is astronomically difficult because of this fucking scrolling, and the fact that the scrolling is so slow, needlessly so in my book. So you see there, you know, any of the aliens that are above me, I'd have no chance because they catch me out before I even saw them, because you just get too impatient. You don't want to wait for the scrolling to catch up, but you don't have much choice. You're pretty much stuck with having to do it. There's the exit, so we'll wait for the fucking intrusive multi-load again. I mean, yes, I do realise that, you know, multi-load is unavoidable and it needs to do it. It's nowhere near as... There are far more of these, like, kidney-shaped things that fly out from it. In the arcade original, this boss is actually easier than the first one. But to a degree, it's looking like that's the case here as well. It's a shame that the backgrounds are so bland. It's just, you know, monochrome grey, and there's no detail. I feel they could have done a bit more in, you know, in that department. So that's level, or stage 2 rather, completed. So we'll go on to stage 3, which we have to wait to load. I'll light up a fag while it's loading. yeah, this level, the aliens do look relatively similar to the boss with the bug eyes. But I badly need a better weapon. This standard first weapon is absolute shite. I'll take that. That's the one. The fireball does seem, well, is for me the best weapon. That's just bonus points. I could have done with, well, anything that's more useful than that. 500. Come on. Why am I just, all I need to do is just wander around and find each of these, so 100 for that. In the arcade version, those panels with the question marks is where you would find the like defense robots that fire back, or guard your back rather. It's certainly a lot more useful than just getting points. But okay, I guess ultimately high score, you know, does matter, but let's face it, we all went by, you know, how far we could get in the game. We never bothered with, you know, just what your score was. Right, I think that's all of them around the perimeter. So now it's just any that are on the central location. There's one over here. Right, 4 left to get. Any of them on this large central, okay, the one there. 3 to get. 2 to get. I'm probably going to end up, oh, okay, 1 to get. I picked that one up without even seeing him. Again, because he was in the corner. Right, the exit. Right, is here. This is the decent one from the arcades. Let's see how he is on the computer one. I can't remember. I remember in the arcade one, I couldn't quite do it. I remember you had to blast away its legs, and then once its legs were blasted away, you then had to blast its 2 eyeballs. And I was able to blast all of its legs away, and then I'd done one of its eyes, but then lost my last life trying to do the second eye, so I was bloody close. This doesn't actually look that much like it at all. The level design where the boss is much more impressive than the arcade. I mean, I guess that's to be expected. But the way it looks here, it almost looks a bit haphazard. It could have and should have looked a lot better. Anyway, there's not much point really in me carrying on. You've seen almost everything. It's just sort of, you know, the designs of the aliens and the bosses for each level, but, you know, grab hold of the game and find those out for yourself. I think it's not a bad conversion. I mean, if you can put up with the irritating scroll problem, then you know, it's a decent game, but that scroll problem really pisses me off, and it for me it makes the game way too hard. That's why I resorted to cheating on this video. Also, I mean, the multi-load is a bit irritating, but it's not as bad as Salamander, so, you know, I guess, you know, it's got that in its favour. So I'd give this 7.5 out of 10. If the scrolling, you know, was the same pace that you moved at, it would be 9.5 out of 10, so it does affect it quite badly. It could have, and really should have been, absolutely fucking phenomenal, but the scrolling spoilt it for me. So let's just pause it there. So with the scrolling problem, yeah, I can't rate it that highly. So yeah, it does affect it. But if you've got no problem with the scrolling, or think you'll have no problem with the scrolling, then definitely give it a go. It's you know, pretty good. Say not as good as the arcade original. If you've got MAME, try and get the arcade original of Alien Syndrome, because you will fucking love it. So that brings this review of Alien Syndrome to a close, and we'll see you in the next review, which will be the 50th Lukozer retro review already. I seem to be racing through these. So there we go. See you at the next video.